Alright, so today I'm going to be playing Mortal Kombat 4 on the N64. And you might ask, right, if you're somebody who owns the arcade board, um, would you ever play this version? And if so, why? So, yes, I do play this version quite a bit, and I'm going to show you the reasons. And it has to do with all the extra modes that exist. So, that was a thing that kind of happened a lot with mid to late 90s home versions of arcade games, is that you got a lot of extra stuff. So even if the game didn't look as good, they kind of made up for it with these extras. So I'm gonna go here into controls and edit this first. Now normally I'm gonna be playing overhand, but if I decide to play like this, I'll have it set up the way I like. So kind of first up, you've got the rounds. So most fighting games you can do between 1 and 5 rounds that you have to win. This one you can actually take it all the way up to 9. So if you could imagine how long a Master 2 tower would take if you did this. And then stacked on top of that, what we're going to be showing, which is the 2v2 mode. It gets a little crazy. Rumble, if you're into that in fighting games, I'm really not. And then this is really cool. Like, I'm a big fan of the music in this game, so it is nice sometimes to be able to turn this where the sound effects are at 70 and just really crank the volume. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at default. So just kind of starting from the bottom here, we can go into practice, which isn't anything like super special, right? You can't do a whole bunch with this. It's very bare bones, but the fact that it existed at all is really cool. So you can set whether it's dummy mode or you're fighting the computer, and then set what difficulty. And then you can also have it where player 2 is being controlled by a human. Select what stage you want and then jump in. So this, obviously you can just sit in here all day and figure out what's your highest damage combos and stuff like that, which I completely missed. But the point is that you can practice it all. And then you've got this, which I'm trying to think what would have been the first Mortal Kombat to ever include an actual move list, but it's in here. Now, granted, it's only in the practice mode, so you can't pause the game mid-match and look it up, which I personally don't have an issue with. Like, I always feel like your training mode needs to be for training, and then when it's time to play, like, let's play. It's convenient, but also it's like, maybe just learn the stuff, I don't know. But it's really cool that that's there. So, if it's a case where you don't know what fatalities are in MK4 and you hop online and then what you look up is incorrect, well, you can be sure that it's right in this game. Then you've got tournament mode. This is pretty cool. So you can have a 4 to 8 player tournament, and you can do human players, computer players, a mix, whatever you want to do. So I'll just put it on 4 just so it's shorter. Then you can actually have it to where it'll show or not show the CPU battles. So right now I've got it set human and 2 computers. You select what character you want, yada yada, and then you can toggle, right? So these are CPU. Actually, let me just do this. So I'm just gonna hit start so you see what it looks like, and it's gonna skip the battles. So these are just gonna show versus screen and then the results, but you'll get to see what the tournament looks like at the end. It's just one little like stationary pose, but it's kind of cool. It's something you didn't get to see in the arcade, so it's kind of neat to just see it here. All right, so there it is. That's what it is. So when you and 7 other pals were playing MK4, there's the victor right there. So that's kind of neat. Then you've got endurance, and endurance has actually 3 different ones. So you've got endurance where, if I remember right, you go through a whole tower, but you have 1 life bar to do it, and you don't regain health. Then there's versus endurance, which is a 2-player mode, and each of you gets all 15 characters, right? I think they're assigned randomly, but so basically it's like you have to beat the other characters 15 characters. There's the winner. And then ultimate endurance, I think you have to fight against the computer like all 15 characters in a row. I'm not sure if Goro's included in that. I don't remember. Then you've got Team Battle, right? This is like what I was showing in KI Gold. You can do between 1 and 5. I think KI2 or KI Gold was 11, but the difference here is that here you fight the whole fight, so it's not just 1 health bar. So while it's only 5 characters, you end up doing 2 rounds each. So it kind of works out to be the same thing. And I can do a quick a quick play of this, and we can kind of see what the result screen looks like. It's nothing super special. It honestly just has a a red X over the profile of the losing characters. But we'll just take a look at it real quick anyway. And then when I get done with this, we'll move on to the, in my opinion, the highlight of the whole thing, which is the 2v2 arcade ladder. Because I'm a big fan of playing 2v2, and not like the new Mortal Kombat game. I'm not into the cameo stuff or assists. So I'm talking like legit. You have 2 characters that you control, whether you tag them in or it's like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Which I just realized. I just realized I left it at like 9 rounds, didn't I? So anyway, I might splice that in here. Or tell you what, let's try it one more time. Team battle. Doesn't matter. We'll do it. So yeah, I'm not big into like assist stuff, so yeah, I always love 2v2 and MK3 and the tag mode and MK9 and all that. And then yeah, this was the other one. I can't really think of what other MK games can you even do that in. I don't know. I don't think any, but. And he had the 3v3 in MK Trilogy on 64. So yeah, in general, man, the fatalities in this are spot on, man. There's very few differences. Here's one of them. When he slams him down, the blood goes shooting way up. No, it's the arcade. I had it backwards. The arcade, it goes shooting way up off screen, splatters down. N64, not as spectacular, but it's, I guess, a little more realistic. I do still prefer the arcade version, but everything else of that looks awesome. I think the only ones that really got toned down was Sonya's, and I can talk about that in a minute. So in the arcade, if you hit 2v2, this goes straight into a 2-player mode where there's 4 characters. But I'll go ahead and pick default Sub-Zero Scorpion. And I'm just going to play Novice, that way we can kind of knock this out quicker. If you want to see me playing through Master 2, I have a arcade, like 5 playthroughs in a row on the arcade on Master 2 Tower, if you want to see that. I think it's the only other MK4 video I have. So, yeah, so okay, here we go, 2v2 against the computer, man. This, to me, this is the reason, above all else, why I fire up the N64 version of MK4 over the arcade version, is this right here. Because, yeah, I'm a sucker for these kind of games, man. I love these modes. They're fun. And then you get the exploding combat on top of that. Like, how cool is that? So even if you don't do fatalities, man, you still got some carnage happening. A lot of fun. And yeah, if you liked MK4 in the arcade, man, I gotta say, in my opinion, the gameplay, the controls, the speed of the game, I don't see any different. There's probably somebody out there that knows, like, oh no, you don't understand, like, this thing's a little different. Okay, but for me, man, it's gameplay-wise, it's spot on with the arcade.
Fatality.
Now, when you get into the graphics, okay. Now, graphically, obviously, we had a drop, right, in poly count and fidelity and extra particles, or like on this stage, there's not as much shrubbery, and right, if you hit somebody with the ice and then you hit them with the uppercut, there's less pieces flying off. I get it, but the overall look of the game, the color palettes, the way the animations are, like all the animations spot on. It's like you took the arcade version and like maybe had some blurry vision and you were playing this. So it's like, yeah, it's not as clear, but everything's there. And it's the same case for the sound and the sound effects and the music. Like all the music is there, all the music's right, all of it's on the right stages, which is a common problem with a lot of MK ports. Is they'll, for some reason, throw like the courtyard music on the pit or just something dumb. But this is spot on. The bit rate of the sound effects is obviously toned down from the arcade to save on storage space and all that, but it's all there. It's just like having a degraded copy of a cassette or something. Oh, there it is, the slowdown. I was waiting for it. I love it. I love it. So, to me, that's my favorite fatality right there. That's it. I love that version of it. As much as I love the OG original, it's everybody's favorite. I love it. I always loved it. But that MK4 one, dude. The tug, and then the rip. Oh man, so good. Then on top of that, when you throw a little bit of slowdown on it, I love it. And that's something you get a little bit more on the N64 version. And I prefer it. But the arcade version itself also has slowdown in it with a lot of those things. Usually, like if you're right up against a wall, you'll get some slowdown, or if there's a lot going on. And then, yeah, I was talking about Sonya's fatality earlier. So both of her fatalities got a little bit nerfed in this version, but I don't think that it's for any other reason other than actual, like, capabilities of the system. To me, it's nothing to do with, like, a censorship or anything like that. It's like, there's so much crap going on with Sonya's fatalities. Like when she does the leg rip, there's all these extra bones and bits that are flying everywhere. So on the N64, those elements have been reduced. And then her Kiss of Death one, like they explode and splatter on the screen, and there's like, 4 or 5 layers of blood and body parts splattering and overlays. And like even the arcade itself is just chugs during that, especially if it's like this stage with the fan and man. So you've got what was at the time probably one of the most graphically impressive arcades. Maybe not the number one, but it was up there. I don't remember his fan fatality. And while I like his ice one, and I could do it, this one's just like, it's too good. So we're gonna see it a bunch. But yeah, you had what was, one of the most impressive new bits of arcade hardware out there, and even it was chugging along. Like it was designed for this game, and still it was struggling. So to see the N64, slow down some for some of those fatalities, it's like, okay, no big deal. I think it looks cool. So now you got this stage here. This one was added to the home versions, and honestly, this is the only addition that I don't like in this game, because tonality is kind of lost, right? It doesn't feel like the other stages. All the other ones are dark, and then you've got this snowy stage with a blue sky, and I think the blue sky is the biggest part of why I don't like it. And then also you just have the Living Forest music. So not a big fan. I don't hate it, but this is definitely my least favorite part of the whole package is this stage. Yeah, and so this is the same case with the PlayStation 1 version. Now, the PS1 version is actually really good too, considering. It does have a few sound effects and things that aren't right. They're not correct. And you do have loading. That's one of the benefits of the N64 version, right? When you're playing 2v2, there's no loading. But I will say that the loading's not atrocious. It's definitely there, but it's not too bad because it's a polygonal game. Let's get a little bit more slow down. Boom. It was usually the sprite-based games that really gave you the major loading.
Round 1, fight.
I guess one of the other things that was added to the game I haven't shown is the extra costumes. Now in the arcade version on the title screen, you can press start and 3 different face buttons, and everybody's code is different. If I remember right, Scorpion is high punch, block, and high kick. And I think Sonya's like high punch, block, run, or anyway. When you do that, the character profile icon will rotate around, and then you'll play as the player 2 costume or color. Now in the home versions, I think this is true in the PlayStation as well. I don't really remember because this is the one I played all the time. You can have some other outfits, like Sub-Zero has one where his arms are ice. Scorpion has a gray outfit where his it's just got his skull. I'm trying to remember some of the other. I think Johnny Cage has like a James Bond, like he's got the tuxedo with a gun. Reptile's got one where he's in, I think, pretty much what Scorpion's ninja costume looks like in here. And then also, I think with some of the costume changes come weapon changes. So instead of, Sub-Zero having the ice wand, he'll have something different with those others. Kind of want to do something with Scorpion, since I haven't done anything but spine rips from what I remember. So on that one there, the flame effect that's supposed to mask the change into the Scorpion is more transparent in the arcade, so it doesn't really hide much. So that's one of the benefits there of that one. But yeah, in general, man, most of the fatalities are really well recreated. Then we've got Goro. So Goro, I know, is a character that some people don't like being in this game, and I can get that because he's basically this. He's a bullet sponge, basically. But I actually always liked him being in here, and the reason why is because I felt like Shinnok was such a non-boss that it really felt like there was no boss in the game at all. And with the addition of Goro, it finally felt like, okay, there's finally that overpowered character that might give you a problem that has always existed in MK. So that's why I really always liked him being in here. Now you'll see in 2v2 mode, he's been teamed up with Johnny Cage, and it's always like that, right? He never gets teamed up with anybody else. Not that I remember, or that it's always Johnny. And I always wondered if that was because of the 1995 movie, right? Because Johnny Cage fights Goro, and I wondered if that's what it was. I don't know what other connection do these two have. Now in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, there's a lot of different title screens on the game, and also different covers for the game. So you got Shao Kahn and Sindel, and you've got Kano and Sonya, and there's a title screen that has Melina Katana, Shang Tsung, Liu Kang. Well, there's one that's Johnny Cage and Goro. So for some reason, yeah, they've connected these two characters. Now, if you were to ask me, okay, if it wasn't Johnny Cage, who would you team up with Goro? And I would say that should go to Reptile. Not only were both of those characters from the original MK, but if you take the idea of like they were protecting Shang Tsung, I think that would work pretty well. But you know, that's me getting to think about it a lot later, right? This is whoever's making the home port of this game with the challenge of porting it, and then going like, okay, who do we team up with? Goro, haha, $500 sunglasses, asshole. That'll work, you know. So maybe that's what it was. But... So okay, Goro also got his own. Right, he got to fight on Goro's lair. Right, Goro's lair already existed in the arcade version, but he gets to you fight him on Goro's stage. So that also made him feel more like a boss, because that's the way the boss fights always worked. Shinnok, you always fought just anywhere. It didn't matter. Prison, living forest, and I'm intentionally gonna lose here for a reason. But in this one, because you just fought on Goro's lair, you fight here first. And you got the fire and everything, and this feels kind of like, you know, this is the first stage you play on, but this feels like a final battle right here. So, very cool. And then what makes 2v2 really cool is that you have to fight Quan Chi, and it make, you know, Quan Chi to me feels like a boss. So when you team these two up, like this feels like a boss fight. Now, you'll be like, why did I bother losing that fight on purpose? Did I just want to ramble some more? A little bit, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is that now that Quan Chi is the second player, that means that he's the one that's going to explode instead of Shinnok. And that's not something that you'll be seeing. I guess you could see it, I don't know, there might be some way to do it. Codes or something. I think there's like, isn't there some kind of way to see the end of the game by killing an opponent? I don't know, but normally you're not going to see this, so that's why we're doing it. Well, that was lame. There we go. Boom. All right, so we'll watch the ending, and then yeah, that'll be it. I might add a little bit at the end, but if not, thanks for watching.
The battle is finished. Your quest for vengeance is over, Scorpion.
You cannot kill a dead man. You have defeated my physical form, but my soul is eternal. You will pay for the massacre of my clan.
Well done, Sub-Zero. Like your brother before you, you have served my purposes well. I serve no one. Not the Lin Kuei, and not you. Scorpion agreed to fight for us in exchange for freedom from the Netherrealm, a deal I had no intention of fulfilling. By killing him, you saved us the trouble. Both you and Scorpion were pawns for Shinnok. Scorpion!
Our battle is finished. You are now freed from my curse. Live well, Lin Kuei warrior.
All right, indeed. I love that, you know, in the ending there, we needed to have it where Scorpion kills Quan Chi, but it's like, how does he kill him? By doing two things we've never seen Scorpion do, or I've never known him to do, which is to levitate somebody and then shoot a green orb out of his face. So I always thought that was it's an interesting solution for killing Quan Chi. Yeah, the endings in general are like, they're delightful, you know? they're delightfully cheesy. Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.